All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mocktail Minutes. We have another returning guest. Before we introduce her again, Brianna, what are you drinking today?
I'm doing a poppy. I'm just doing an orange poppy, but I don't know about you guys. I think if I have too many of them, they hurt my stomach.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I've never had too many of
I'm
them.
sorry, I only
Like a
like one
half.
at a time.
But
Yeah, I don't have this like if I have like an Olipop a couple days in a row, I feel fine, but
Hmm,
I don't feel fine with this.
that
So
is weird.
there's
Yeah.
that, but here I am.
I'm doing the Blue Hawaiian Just Ingredients electrolytes.
I did order some with
Okay.
their sale. I got like the mango guava and then like a pineapple something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then we do have Megan on the podcast today. Megan, do you want to reintroduce
hello.
yourself and share your drink?
Yes, I'm Megan Hansen. I am the founder of My Dietitian and Metabolism Makeover, and I am drinking Just Ingredients Clear Protein today. The strawberry limeade, which is actually really good. I was a little skeptical about clear protein. I like that doesn't sound good to me at all, but this is actually delicious. I really like it. I also learned yesterday that these are not dairy free, that
They're
there's
not.
whey protein in these clear protein drinks. Isn't that
Oh,
weird?
yeah.
I don't know why that's weird to me. Because to me, the whey is like the thick part of a protein powder, and this is just like
Mhm.
water. I don't know.
They have something like that at Costco right now. They're like 30 grams of protein. They're like sparkling protein drinks, and apparently they're delicious. I'm too scared to try them because I'm like, I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, this one's good. Although I will say, I mean, it does have 14, this one has 14 grams of sugar and 14 grams of carbs, 9 grams of sugar. So, I mean, it's going to spike my blood sugar, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have any fat in it. Like,
We're gonna have to go on a walk.
it's interesting that Just Ingredients has that much sugar.
it
And
is interesting. Well, I think it's because, well, here's why. And some of their proteins are higher in carbs and sugar because they use real fruit. They're not using
that makes
natural
sense.
flavor. So the ingredients in this is grass-fed whey, strawberry, raspberry, lime, and then it's stevia and monk fruit and MCT oil, which is interesting. There's no fat in it. I don't know what that's for, but yeah, you know what? I should put on a CGM.
You should.
Yeah.
There's a few.
There's a few
Just a
here.
couple. Just a couple.
I did try the sparkling guava mango electrolytes from Just Ingredients, their new ones. That was really good. It tastes like the V8s. I did like
Oh,
that.
I
Mhm.
like this.
Yeah.
I
So
can
that's
do.
what we can try.
Yeah.
Yes. Today we are talking about foundations versus optimization. So Megan and I posted a reel. I think it earlier this week or last week? It was a recent reel talking about like this is what I'm doing. This is not your foundation. This is what I'm working to optimize. I think it is the NAD shots maybe. But we wanted to dive into that because I think there's a lot of like I don't know, confusion online where we see all these different types of people doing all these things and everyone gets stressed out because it's like, oh my gosh, should I be doing this and doing this and doing this? Yet you're just not eating enough. And that could be the main problem as to why you're not pooping every day. So we're going to talk about foundations, optimizations, and we're going to have Megan dive into this with us.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say I think there's a little bit's confusion, and then there's also oh, I can take a pill, I can take a shot. There's a magic thing that I can do. I can buy a supplement
Mhm.
and lose the weight or feel better, or a lot of times it's weight loss, let's be real. So let's talk about that because I think we see that all the time. We were
Oh,
answering
yeah.
text messages this morning from people messaging in that are like new in the program right now. And it's like they just want that so bad. They just want like, well, tell me what supplement to take.
Mhm.
Should I take this? Should I take this? Probably not.
Probably not. I
Fiber.
need you, I need you walking more than 2,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need you
Right
to
there.
look at the sun
Yeah.
for 10
Go look
minutes.
at the sun.
Go sleep. Have some protein. Yes. Yeah. So then, because I think that's always like a sticky spot. People are like, okay, well, when do I like level up? So, what would you consider like core foundations of good nutrition? Like, this is what you need to be doing before you just add on some supplement.
Yeah, I think, okay, going back to the basics, the PHFF, eating protein at every meal, working yourself up to at least 30 grams. obviously this is going to be different for everybody because we all have different bodies, but I would say for just about anybody across the board, like we want to be doing at least 30 grams of protein at a meal. And then, am I eating healthy fats? Am I eating at least 25 grams of fiber a day? Looking at my carbs, like what kind of carbs am I eating? Am I eating a lot of chips and, crackers and processed carbs, or am I eating whole food carbs? Am I eating beans and lentils and, quinoa and whole grains and fruits and vegetables? Like how many colors are there in my diet? That's one thing I've been doing recently that I don't think I've ever really done. I've kind of switched to, instead of focusing so hard on the macros, because I feel like that's just so easy for me now. Every day I'm like, okay, did I eat something red? Did I eat something orange? That's, to me, that's so foundational. And if you don't have that down, there's very little reason to go outside of that. Yeah.
What would you say is kind of like the next step? Because I think everyone automatically, like, we work with a lot of people who want weight loss, and it's everyone's automatic assumption to like eat less, work out more. So that's what everyone focuses on. But I think sometimes people just need to sleep a little bit, and that could help solve a lot of their problems. So how do you kind of decide, okay, here we got the foundations of the meals. Now what do I do? Do we do the workouts? Do we do the sleep? Do I skip a workout to get more sleep? Do I skip sleep to get workouts? Like all those pieces.
So the next one to me is usually movement, but it's nuanced because we do need to pay attention to sleep. So it's like, well, if sleep is a really serious issue, we need to address that because the sleep is going to affect your appetite. It's going to affect your cravings. It's going to affect your ability to build muscle. If you're hitting the gym every day and you're sleeping 5 hours a night, like I would say it's almost pointless. It's going to affect how much you're moving just in general. Like we see a correlation there, like how well rested you are and just how much you move. Are you much more likely to park in the back of the, Target parking lot if you are well rested? Yeah, sure. So it's affecting and it affects our stress. So I would probably tackle sleep if it was a major problem, but if it's like, you're getting 6.5 hours, or you're in a really stressful season of life, or you have a newborn or whatever, I don't see sleep. Here's an issue that I run into. When I say to prioritize sleep over everything else, if you're not getting at least 7 hours of sleep, don't work out. Then all of a sudden we get into, oh, it's been 3 months since I worked out because Megan told me not to work out if I didn't get 7 hours of sleep. So I don't want to send the message like, don't work out at all. We still want to be moving our bodies for sure, but we also want to, be making sure that we're getting enough sleep. So, I think it just kind of depends on the person. But with the exercise in particular, again, especially if you're going after weight loss or body composition goals, if you're not strength training, if you're not like really exercising at least twice a week, then again, there's no reason to be going and getting an NAD shot. There's no reason to be honestly even taking creatine or some of those supplements that we recommend to pretty much everyone. You need to be moving your body. And then I would say sleep, right, kind of like nestled right in there with that. Yeah.
That's what I was talking to someone about this morning in text, actually, where she's like, not sleeping great. I'm in bed for like 7 to 8 hours. Kids aren't sleeping. So it's like, she can't really control that, but she feels better when she works out.
Yeah.
So I was like, honestly, I would continue working out. Like if that makes you feel better and you enjoy it and you feel like it's taking stress off of you, continue doing that. Now, if you're like dragging throughout the day and just like surviving off coffee to keep your eyes open, yeah, probably pull back. But if you feel better doing it, keep doing it.
And I agree. That's why I don't like to give a lot of, hard rules on this stuff because a lot of it does depend on how you feel.
We always joke we need to get merch that just says it depends because we say that a lot.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's body really is truly very different. And some people have a really hard time recovering from exercise. Some people super easy, not a problem. So you have to know yourself. And the same goes for like when people ask, should I, like coffee before breakfast? Okay, this is a really good example. Coffee before breakfast. Some people are perfectly fine having coffee before breakfast. There's terrible idea. How does it make you feel? How much stress do you have in your life? How much stress are you able, what is your stress capacity in your body? You know, if it's a really stressful season of life and you're maybe not sleeping super great, and you've got all this going on, would I have coffee before breakfast? No, because your cortisol is going to just be off the chart and you're going to feel awful. Actually, you're not even going to feel good. So it depends.
Yeah.
What would you say are like common mistakes when people are like, oh yeah, I'm like getting those basics, but then you take like a deeper look and you're like, yeah, not so much. Like, what do you think people usually mix up on the foundations?
Like they think they're nailing it.
Yeah. Actually, the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that question is fat intake. And the reason I always think about this one is because when people come into at least my world, I don't preach low fat. So I'm telling people like, yeah, we want to make sure we're adding healthy fat at every meal. I say 1 to 3 servings. So a lot of times, you know, people will run with that and say, okay, well, if I can have 3 servings of fat, I'm going to put 3 fats on my plate along with my other food. And then a month goes by and they're like, well, you know, the scale's gone up. My clothes are getting tighter. And then we go and look, okay, well, you're eating 120 grams of fat a day. So we need to scale that back. So that would be one that I think super important. We want to make sure we're eating enough fat. We want to make sure for sure that we're getting at least 60 grams a day. But just be cautious of it because it is still a really calorically dense food. So if you're eating too much fat, that can be the thing that is holding you back. So you just want to make sure, I mean, if you can get away in a meal eating like 1 or 2 servings of fat instead of 3, then that's probably where you should be instead of going overboard. So that would be one. Let me think. Another would be workouts, random workouts. You know, I'm going to pick on Peloton. I don't have a Peloton, so correct me if I'm wrong. This is at least for at least the first several years that Peloton had their app. They didn't have any sort of like progressive overload, and you can do strength training, but it's just like random. I come across this a lot. Or if you're just like doing the Lifetime gym workouts, even if you're doing the strength training workouts, at some point, if you're not progressively overloading, you're just doing these random workouts, you may not be getting stronger. And it can work for a while, but then at some point you are going to kind of hit a plateau there. Or I would say even working out, like considering Pilates as strength training. Pilates is amazing and I love it and I promote it and I think it's great, but it's not strength training.
Right.
So if you have 30 pounds to lose, 50 pounds to lose, and you're doing Pilates, you're not going to burn fat there, right? Like if your goal is to burn fat,
Yeah.
you're just going to be lifting heavy weights. That's it.
And I think
Simple.
that's the other thing. Like, I have gotten so much better at being like, tell me what heavy lifting means to you. Because people are like, yeah, I'm lifting heavy. And then I find
Yes.
they've been like doing shoulder presses with like 5-pound dumbbells for the past 5 months. And I'm like, wait, time out.
No,
And
that's a really good one.
and then they're frustrated. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like, I think actually lifting heavy.
Yes. Your workouts should be tough. Like you should leave there. You shouldn't leave there feeling totally, burnt. Like you're not going to be able to go on with the rest of your day. You should still feel energized, but you should be like, damn, like
Like I
I did some work there.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of moms to like think about your kids. If you can lift your kid up and you're lifting like 30, 40 pounds and you're only lifting like 5, 10 pounds at the gym, increase the weights.
Yeah, when you're like slinging around like a car seat with a baby in it or like carrying a toddler like 18 hours of the day, stop curling 5 pounds.
Anymore.
Not doing anything.
Don't do that. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I think that's a big one. What do you think, or do you think it's risky to jump to advanced strategies without solid foundation?
Yeah, I don't even know if risky is the right word. I suppose there could be situations. I think it's more just a waste of time and money. Money is the huge one.
I think mental energy too, like just being
Yeah.
like, oh, look, I added more and still nothing's happening. Okay, if someone has limited time or energy, they're busy. Because I know as a dietitian, I get this a lot. People being like, oh, well, I could never do that because like I have a different schedule than you. I'm like, I don't know. I think they just think I like I have 18 hours of my day to do self-care. I know. But if someone's like, okay, I'm busy, I have limited times, what are like the big rocks that they should focus on first?
So to me, nutrition is it's non-negotiable. And if you don't have time, if you say that you don't have time for it, that is bullshit. There is absolutely no excuse to not have your nutrition on lock because there's so many options.
Yeah.
Meal delivery, if you can't, and the thing is, I'll push back too on like, can't afford meal delivery. How often are you eating out? If you're eating out even, 3 times a week, 100% you can afford meal delivery.
Wow, it's expensive.
There's
Wow.
so many options at the grocery store now that just like that you can pick up either ready to eat or very close to being ready to eat. You can have on hand at all times. I don't cook. Like it's very rare that you will see me cooking. I do not have time. I am 100% your I do not have time for anything person. And I have no issue with it. It is all it is systems. It's just making, God, I don't even want to say it's making the time. It's it's just changing your behavior really because you're ordering groceries no matter what. It doesn't matter. That's why to me nutrition is always so foundational. It's always the first thing we start with because you're not having to go to you don't have to get a gym membership. You don't have to buy any dumbbells. You don't have to take the 30 minutes to do your workout. The food is already there. And you don't have to cook it. There's so many options.
It really is.
Yeah, that's the biggest one to me. And I'm just like, I do not take excuses on that one.
Right. Because you're eating every day.
You're eating every day. It doesn't matter. Now, is there a learning curve? Is there I am used to eating like this and now I need to get used to eating like this? Yes. And I absolutely understand making any change is tough. And that's why I talk about these micro habits over macro habits and not overhauling your diet in one night, but just saying, I'm just going to commit to 30 grams of protein at breakfast for the next week or two. And that's all you have to do. There's probably going to be a lot of things that fall into place after that. But if that's your only focus, you start to build that muscle, right? And it's like, okay, now let's add in one more thing. Let's try to nail protein at lunch and then at dinner. You can extend this out over several months, but eventually it should be just completely on autopilot.
Yeah. Starting small.
Explain like systems for people. Like how do people start setting systems? Like what does that mean?
Yeah. So every week, this is what I would do if you're in this place right now, because I do get this question a lot, and a lot of people like to make the excuse. Brianna can probably talk about this one too. People love to make the excuse that they're ADHD. I'm ADHD, so I just can't do anything. I mean, I hear this, like I can't function because I have ADHD, and I'm like, great.
I've heard this 3 times today, actually.
Yes, and I love getting that because I'm like, me too. Do you want to see the diagnosis?
Yeah.
But you'll never hear me talk about it unless I'm, saying that because it's really, especially for us, it's such a matter of just putting systems in place because we can follow a system. Like we can do that every Friday. Let's say you sit down, you take 10 minutes, if you have to put it in your phone as an alarm or whatever, to sit and just build a little bit of self-awareness around your week, make a plan for the weekend and for the week. What is it that I need to do? Like, what is it last week? What happened last week that I'm not super happy about? Well, we had 3 soccer practices and, we ended up eating pizza out 3 nights. And then I didn't have time to prep breakfast and Okay, great. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do differently next week to prevent that? And there's probably a number of things, but one could be utilizing your slow cooker, let's say. Okay, let's do a slow cooker meal in the morning on Wednesday. We have soccer practice. Dinner will be ready when I get home. What is that going to take? Well, that's going to take looking up a recipe that I want to make. Okay. And then that's going to take putting that on my grocery list. So seems so simple, but it's like, if you just put that in your calendar to spend that time reflecting on the last week, what went wrong? What could I have done to make this not go wrong? And then making the plan to do it the next week and just knowing I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time this weekend deciding what we're eating, doing my grocery list, which I'm going to do anyway. And then you know, I'm going to set this time aside in my calendar to do lunch, or maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe I do need to get some meal delivery, whatever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right? Like but you kind of, I think there doesn't have to be a lot of systems. You can start with one system. If that's your one system, is every week I sit and do this, that will then create other systems and you'll start to build it out. And again, you're not going to do it overnight. Every week you're going to check in and you're just going to get a little bit better every single week. So like right now, my systems are, I have meal delivery on auto ship, you know, and I get a notification. Do you need your auto ship this week? You know, maybe I do, maybe I don't. But that right there is a system because I don't have to think about it. It's on auto ship.
Yeah.
That's very minor, but it makes it so that my fridge is filled with PHFF meals every single week and don't have to think about it.
That's the part people are like, I think they just think one day they're going to wake up and like everything's just going to be smooth, you know? And I'm like, I constantly tell people I'm a dietitian. This is what I do for a living. I know if I don't have my systems in place and I'm just like, I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants, like it's probably going to be chaotic. And I know what the hell I'm doing. So I can't imagine someone who's like trying to learn these things being like, I'll just figure it out in the moment. You're not going to. You're not going to. It's going to be chaotic. Every single time I have a week that was just like a crap show, I'm like, oh, I know why. Like, I didn't set myself up. Like, bottom line, that's it. You have to choose to do it. And I think the starting it is what people don't want. They just think randomly one day they're going to wake up and like, I'm just going to have all this healthy food in my house and I'm going to make great choices every meal and like not have to think about it, which like, unless that's all you're doing with your life, that's never going to be you.
Yeah. And the all or nothing thinking too around it having to be perfect. And okay, when I have time to prep all my meals and do this and do that, and we've learned that because that's just how dieting and weight loss and programs have always looked. But if we can kind of set that aside and say, you don't actually need to do all that. This is actually so much more simple than you think it is. You know? Like pick up a rotisserie chicken, get some frozen meatballs or whatever. Like it is not that hard. I have 6 cartons of cottage cheese in my refrigerator right now. If I need protein, I've got it.
Yeah. Oh, that's something that's like one of my systems, like creating a grocery list that's like, because you can create like my favorites to where you're just like add favorites to cart every week. It takes 1 second, like, oh, all this is going to be in my cart. Cottage cheese, yogurt, eggs, fruit.
We talk how these things, they're no brainer, but I think the hardest part is when you're starting, like you are going to have to use some brain power to get it going.
Yeah, you're building a skill.
Yeah. The resistance is, oh, it took me extra time. Like, yeah, it's going to take you extra time, but like, are you going to spend the extra time putting in your grocery order or are you going to sit here and complain about it again next week because you feel like crap again?
Yeah.
Right. A little bit of tough love, right? Like, listen, if you want changes, you got to make changes. But I think that's why people are so quick to being like, oh, I need that shiny object. Like, you know, CGMs or that NAD shots or like all these fancy things. So what is your biggest, I guess, advice for helping people resist that temptation with the quick fix or like the shiny objects or using a CGM before they need to, that sort of thing?
My advice. Well, I mean, I think, no, I don't even know if it's advice. I think I would just say it's not going to work. It doesn't matter. Stop spending money. There's not really, if you genuinely want to see results, you have to put in the work. Stop trying to take shortcuts because those aren't actually shortcuts.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's gonna take you longer. It's still not gonna work. You still have to do all the things. You can't just skip the foundations. And that's where even like the CGMs, like we have lots of people that use CGMs, but like if you're skipping breakfast and you're eating a granola bar for lunch and then dinner is like whatever happens, like I can already tell you're probably having blood sugar fluctuations. I don't need a CGM to tell me that. So
I also can't do anything with that information. I can't help you optimize anything.
Yeah, I think that would be it. And sometimes in the instance of a CGM, sometimes it does take people doing that and looking at it and saying like, oh, I actually need to do the basics. And in that case, it's fine. You know, like if you need that data some people really do need to have that data, then do it. Some people need to go get a bunch of labs just to see that they perhaps just need to make some lifestyle changes. And if that's you, then that's you. You know, I criticize, I don't criticize, but I just, you know, I'm kind of like poking fun at it right now. But I'm also a person that learns the hard way on nearly everything. So don't think that I'm judging you. You know, maybe not in the arena of food, but literally everywhere else, it's like, oh no, like let me do this the hard way and then learn and go back and do the basics. So I think it's just kind of human nature to do that. And we're always looking for some sort of shortcut, or we're always just trying to make it more difficult on ourselves. And I do think, especially now, with everything being so instant in our lives, there is this element of like we've sort of lost the art of hard work and perseverance and resiliency and
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah. And unfortunately, our bodies, even though our surroundings have changed and our technology has changed, our bodies are the same. Like we still have these ancient bodies that need us to do the basics before we do anything crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's such a good point, because I can't tell you how many times people have been like, well, I felt like I hit my macros this week and nothing happened, so I guess this isn't working. I'm like, well, I mean, hey man, like,
Do it again next week.
yeah, you still need to do that regardless if it didn't work.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
And I think that's where like metabolism makeover is so powerful, is because it's, even if you're not seeing results for whatever reason, you are inevitably going to feel 100 times better. And
Yeah.
your outcome in life is going to be 100 times better. Now, if you're not seeing results, at least now we know that you're doing the foundations. So maybe we need to take a deeper look. And that's where I like to see that progression. And maybe that would be my advice, would be, I know that, you know, the shiny object is great, but what we're not really even going to know when it comes to labs, for example, we're not even going to really know what's going on or how to help you until you're doing those foundations too. And then when you're doing those, and then we see something in your labs that look kind of off, we can say like, oh, okay, we can tackle this now. And it's not just, well, okay, we see this in your lab. Go make sure that you're, you know, walking every day. Well, you're already doing that. So now maybe we need a different approach. Maybe we need a medication. Maybe we need a supplement. It's just so much easier to treat someone too.
Yeah. So just doing the basics.
Or two, I think, because it's like walking, it doesn't sound very exciting. Like it's like, walking, but like an NAD shot, that's crazy and
Yeah.
exciting. So
You
we
feel
get,
like you're doing something wild. You're like, oh,
yeah, living on the edge.
yeah.
That can be tricky too, and hard to be like, okay, no, the boring stuff, that's what you need. You have to have this foundation that no one sees under your house. And then you build up, and then you could put picture frames and everything else and do all the extras. And it's like, oh, it feels more homey. But you can't do any of that if you're not walking, if you're not eating protein, eating fiber, like all these different things. You just won't feel good. Any last bits of advice or words of wisdom from you, Megan?
Do the basics, guys. Do the pillars. Protein, healthy fat, and fiber.
Yes.
Muscle, movement, sleep, stress, gut health. But you know, when it comes to stress and gut health, which are obviously super important too, that is, I think, where we can sometimes your stress, and also especially when it comes to gut health, we do need to have some different sorts of interventions there. And I wouldn't always consider that to be foundational. I mean, stress management certainly is foundational, but it's so complex that we can leave those out. But I would say, you know, the top are your food, your movement, and your sleep. You get those down, and then we can move on and start optimizing.
Well, since you inspired this episode, what has been your kind of favorite way to optimize? What's something that you really enjoy that just cherry on top?
Okay. Actually, I'm going to say this one, even though I've never done it, but I'm just going to say it on this episode because I just today bought myself a weighted vest. I feel like I'm the last person on the planet to buy a weighted vest at this point, but I'm very excited about it. I think
Great.
the health benefits are amazing. But again, that's something where it's like, if you're not already just walking, do you need a weighted vest? I guess if it's going to motivate you and that excites you, this one's probably fine, but I'm excited to optimize my walks with that. Otherwise, gosh, you guys, I'm so basic. I am honestly, did the NAD shots last year and I suppose I would do them again, although for me, I didn't really notice much of a difference. But then again, I don't have a lot of brain fog and I don't have a lot of energy issues. So I think that's probably why.
Do you feel like more people would notice like long-term effects from it?
Probably. And I actually think that it's when you do the IV, like the IV drip, people, just from people that I've talked to, they do, I think, tend to notice it more. You're getting a much higher concentration. And I do think that it's something that you get more benefit from the longer you do it. Like, you know, so I'm probably not the best person to ask.
Yeah, we do love the weighted vests though. They're fantastic.
Yeah. I'm excited for my weighted vest. I think it's gonna come tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Just levels it up, you know?
Yeah. I got like I didn't, they have the ones that are just very feminine looking, like you can barely see them. I was like, no, if I am getting a weighted vest, everybody's gonna know.
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna see me walking.
A weighted vest.
Like, look at her.
Yeah. So I have I got one where you can change out the weights and everything too.
Yeah. Oh, fancy.
Yes. My neighbor and I walk every night. And so I got a weighted vest and then she got one. She's like, I can't walk with you. And I'm just walking and you have a weighted vest on. Like, I look like a loser.
So now I need a vest.
So now we both walk in our weighted vest. And I was working the other day and I can see out my front window. And these two other girls, they have weighted vests now too. I was like, influencers of the neighborhood.
I know. I love it.
I will say some random sidebar about weighted vests. I keep seeing this go around on Instagram. It's like these gym bros being like, it doesn't increase fat loss, so there's no point. And I'm like, there's other benefits, you guys.
I actually don't ever even hear people talking about the fat loss benefits. Like that's not even the point. It's
not the point.
And also if you're, how can you prove that it doesn't increase fat loss either? I mean, I don't know if it does or doesn't, but it's going to make you burn more calories and get your heart rate up more. And
you burn more calories. Also, you're helping out your skeleton, which I want to be able to stand up when I'm 80.
I mostly, and maybe this is just because I'm almost 40 now, but from the accounts that I follow, like primarily people are talking about the benefits for women in menopause in particular and perimenopause, like huge benefits for our bones.
Which I need because,
Yes. Well, thank you, Megan, for joining us today. We hope everyone enjoys this episode and we will be back next week with a brand new episode. Bye, guys. Bye.